And don't get me wrong now. things happen to me too. People, whoever, like ninjas, kept breaking in my house. Thought I had money. I went never pushing, you know what I'm saying, at the house with my family and stuff. But we had just had our son, you know what I'm saying, he was the only child at the time. They stole food out my refrigerator. One thing that they took, man, that like they could have took everything in the house and left the camcorder, because the camcorder had my wife giving birth to our first son.
Baby, I fly for y'all. Baby, I fly for
And don't get me wrong now. things happen to me too, all the time. I would say, you know, um, one thing that kept occurring to me, man, and my family was people, whoever, like ninjas, kept breaking in my house. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if them, they thought I had money. I went never pushing, you know what I'm saying, at the house with my family and stuff, but, because I got older, of course. But I don't know, man. I guess they saw me as we was living better or something, you know what I'm saying? We in the same apartments or in the same neighborhood, you know, same houses, however, but for some reason they kept breaking in my house. Hey, bro, I'm talking about no matter where I stayed at, no matter where I stayed at, they broke in my house. They broke in my house, man. Riverdale. I stayed in Timber Lane, Jackson Landing, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Right off 285 in Clayton County. And it's like College Park. It's the edge of College Park, you know what I'm saying? And it's but it's Clayton County, not Fulton County. You don't want to get caught down now. But we stayed in just like I say, man, regular apartment, like what, 2 bedroom little apartment. And we had just we had just had our son. You know what I'm saying? He was the only child at the time. And we left and just went to like Home Depot or something. You know what I'm saying? Went to Home Depot or something, man, and came back. I had a little homie from College Park Projects that I went to school with, his sister, that stayed like at the bottom of the apartment. It went up like three flights of stairs, you know what I'm saying, in one building. And he stayed at the very bottom. When you went in, you went down to his apartment, you know what I'm saying? And he was at home, and then you had like 2 apartments on the second level. You had 2 at the bottom, 2 like that, 2 up there. And this dude that I didn't know, him and his girls, they stayed right there. And it was him. Like I knew it off the rip, because like my little homie, like that, he's from the hood, and like, he know me. I know his family. Like I say, my side of College Park Project. You know what I'm saying? He from the flatbed, so like all little rock. So with him standing right there, I had a piece at home. And he had a little studio down there. I go down there at times. But and then besides, he knew I ain't had shit anyway. He did. But the other dude don't know me. So he can think easily that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's where I dress or how I carry myself or whatnot. He think I'm, doing something or got bread in the house. I don't know. But the reason why I know it was him, because he was old scrungy nigga. You know what I'm saying? And his girls then were little ratchet girls. So I look at the evidence of, what happened inside my house when they came in. They grabbed things, did what burglars do. But they stole food out my refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? They stole a waffle maker. Things that like, and at this time, when I'm staying in Jackson Land up in Riverdale, like, this early 2000, 2006, or, 7, up and up somewhere, and these appliances that we had are like new appliances. They're unique. You know what I'm saying? The waffle maker made like a waffle thing back then. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess they didn't have some of these stuff and that the food. they came, they came and got the stuff out the refrigerator like they were hungry. You know, some burglars be hungry. They doing day at work. And my house could have been like a lunch break, like in between burglaries. But one thing that they took, man, that like they could have took everything in the house. They could have took everything in the house and left the camcorder because the camcorder had my wife giving birth to our first son. You know what I'm saying? So that was like sentimental. Sentimental value. You know what I'm saying? And of course, now my wife had given birth, lived, busted all over. Probably, I probably would have seen it on the internet if I went and looked for it. When I type in lady giving birth, you know what I'm saying? Probably seen it on the internet on a black market or something. Somebody finished or something, you know what I'm saying? But man, they kept bringing to my house, man. We moved from there. We moved to 29, some little regular apartments on Yates Road, man. You know what I'm saying? And the AC freezes up, be hot in the house. The one of the windows had one of the windows was glass, but then when you slide it back, that one that you slide back, that was fiberglass. That's how they got in the house. They just pushed it or pulled it back or something. It just came in the house, and I remember the people who did this, they stole our toaster oven. Like, man, what the like these burglars back then, man. See now they way sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? They come in there, they give you flat screen like that, man. These folk getting your toaster ovens and your waffle maker. these was Jay, man. I told you that little scrungy boy. You know what I'm saying? But I think this probably was a J or something, man. I don't know, man. That the apartment was crazy, man. But they broke in now, man. We ended up leaving that apartment, leaving everything in there. Moved down to Noonan. Caught a little house off Belmont Circle, somewhere like that right there. Little dudes across the street, smoked that little weed and stuff. When we were going to the hot pillar one day, they come and breaking our house. And when I say these little bitty dudes, man, I know it's them because they went and they stole all the clothes out of my closet. You know what I'm saying? But it just so happened all the clothes that they stole out of the closet was clothes that I don't wear. It was hanging up though. But like me at that time, all my clothes that I wore was in a basket right there. You know what I'm saying? And they just came in up, they ran and they just grab it. They just grab it off the hangers. I'm talking about, man, they took all my clothes, took my shoes, and, things like that, man. Or they took all my wife's jewelry though, man. I forgot about that, man. She probably had about $6,000-7,000 worth of jewelry at that time, man. For real, I had bought her so much stuff, and of course she buy her own stuff too. But yeah, they stole all her jewelry, man. I remember saying something to them little boys or something, but then I just let it go, man. You know what I'm saying? But man, my house done been broken into so many times, bro. Like I can go on and go on and go on. But you gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Before I settled down with my wife, got married, even though I did little jewels while I'm married, don't get me wrong. I still take something and fall in my lap. I said just in case the checks come late for me and Video Wayne. I still a pull one on y'all ass. Real talk, man. But real, at the end of the day, man, like I said, I take the bad, the good, the bad, with however it comes because I'm a robber. I came up in the game, robbing and taking myself. So when it come back to me, I do accept it. Now, if I know it's you and you in my face, I'm gonna react out of what my emotions making me feel, and like 9.5 times out of 10 that shit ain't gonna be pretty for you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? Back to that Riverdale story, though. grungy boy who stole the food and all stuff out my house. Oh, when I came back and that happened, and I see everything like that, I walk outside, go knock on my boy downstairs though. He come out like, "Tree man, I ain't even hitting. I got the music playing. I'm recording stuff like that right there." But we outside, I end up calling a few of my cousins. You know what I'm saying? Came over about 4 or 5 of my cousins. Like, yeah, these little dude, I broke in my house, so they shot over there real quick from College Park and down in Noonan. And while we out there chopping it up, home pull up with his girl and her sister. Home pull up. Man, do y'all know time home get out of the car and walking like up toward me, what's going on, like that right now? I went straight in this shit. Bam! Straight in this shit. Didn't say nothing. After I hit him and we locked up, then when I started talking to him, like, yeah, bro, homie, you broke in my shit. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But tell you the truth, that fight didn't even go no further than the wrestle. Because like once I hit him, bam, we locked up. And then we got into a tussle, but we were just tussling. And then my wife started telling my cousin to break us up and all that, then they broke us up. And me, I'm always, ahead of myself because while we locked up, I know that the police on the way, like the neighbor, somebody looking at this whole incident. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to jail in Clayton County. So, I'm trying to get him down, you know what I'm saying, and go ahead and mount him and UFC his ass. But he tussling with me. He tussling with me. And I couldn't get him down in the time that they done came and broke it up. So, that was that. I jumped in the car, bam, shot to my mama's house, and chilled out or whatever, man. But we end up moving, man. What's so crazy about the apartment in Jackson Landing up in Riverdale, Clay County, Georgia, we only stayed there a month. Meaning like we paid the money deposit, first month rent, we moved in the middle of there. Before the month come around, we paid rent again. They had broken our house. So we ended up moving up out that shit, man. For real, man. But like I say, man, I'm gonna be in my emotions because I'm human, But at the end of the day, once hours done pass, days done pass, I don't settle down. I accept it, I suck it up, and I move on because at the end of the day, all that shit is material shit.
They keep in your front door. They tie everybody up and ask who knows the boat on. Cause we came to get that flow. Got my nigga playing with your hoe. And your mama tied up too, screaming hell no. Out of that hoe. Cock his drink,